Hi guys, welcome back to Balls Fan TV. Today we're back with another video doing the match reaction to tonight's 4-1 win against Drogheda at Sullivan and Lambe Park. And yeah, a great win to end the season. We've secured fourth place now. When it looked like that, that was going to be pretty unlikely after, last week's defeat to Shelburne. And it was a really good performance, a really well deserved win. From the off, I just thought every single player looked up for it. It was quite a feisty first half. Tackles were going in the early stages. John Mountney puts in a very strong tackle early on where he's probably a bit lucky to be escaping a red card. But it did kind of help set the tone for the rest of the game. When it came to the rough tackles and the aggression from both sides. But obviously we did take the lead from James Clark. It was a really nice finish, and it was probably what we deserved, just given how we look going forward, and the fact that we were playing with some good energy. We did unfortunately concede. John Mountney gives away another foul, and look, it is probably a second yellow, and we did take him off after that because the way he was going, he was definitely going to get sent off. And Drogheda do score from the free kick. I think Connor Keeley claimed it anyway, but looking back at it there, I think it did come off Kareem, and it was all square. But we didn't let that deter us. We didn't go into our shells. We kept going, and got the goal to put ourselves back in front. It's slightly scrappy. The ball goes in from Flores, Dennison misses it. Douglas James Taylor gets hold of the ball. He can't quite connect with it to put it in the back of the net, but Clark's there to put it in, and we were back in front, and we were all feeling a bit less worried then. And going into the second half, I thought we probably did in the early stages anyway, kind of back off slightly. Drogheda had a little bit more of the ball. They were playing the way that we felt they would, in terms of getting the big lads up front, and putting balls in the box and trying to cause us problems that way. But I thought we dealt with everything really well. And we kept doing that for about 20 minutes, half an hour before. What really changed things was the sending off of Josh Thomas. A very silly elbow, a clear red card. That really changed the complexity of the game then. We started to take control a bit more. And look, we do get the third goal then in the 90th minute. Dennison's looking to take a quick goal kick. Plays it out to Andrew Quinn. Clark's running in on him. He plays it back, but only as far as Colin Whelan, and it's a good high finish. That put the game to bed. And obviously a minute later, Ross Tierney gets in on the action. A good finish, and that put the icing on the cake then, and I've got us the 4-1 win. And it was a really good professional performance. They did everything that we asked of them. The players, gave it everything. Were really fighting from the off. We could see that from the way that we were. Even Mountney's tackle. Look, it's probably a red card, but you could see. That just showed how up for it the players were, and they've gone to a really hard place to go, and won fairly comfortably in the end, and they do deserve a lot of credit for that. We questioned the character of the players after the Shells game, and with the way that we capitulated in the last few minutes, but they certainly showed a response there tonight. I thought every player did their job. There were a few standouts. In particular, I thought Ross Tierney was excellent. Everywhere, just working really hard. James Clark, a great finish for his first goal. Playing up front alongside Dougie, getting into some good spaces, showing the quality that he can bring. I thought Colin Whelan was absolutely brilliant when he came on. A great finish. With some of his directness, the way he just got the ball and ran with it and took players on. I thought that was brilliant. And at the back as well, I thought Lee Kavanagh, I think we said it after the Pats game, he had a good game that night, and we said, he's come under a lot of criticism this season, and most of that has probably been deserved. He's had his moments this season where he's let himself down, but I thought tonight, he was just really solid, dealt with everything really well. And yet, look, in the end, it was a really good professional performance. We done the job. The players went out there and and showed a response from last week, you know, when their character and, you know, their desire and their commitment, you know, came under a lot of you know, scrutiny. They've gone out there in a very, you know, physically demanding game and done a really good professional job. Look, you know, it's a top four finish, it's fourth. You know, it doesn't mean anything yet. Obviously, we have to wait for the cup final next week. We have to hope that Rovers, you know, take that cup, which, you know, isn't nice. You know, it's not gonna be good, you know, cheering on your rivals in a cup final. But look, all we care about is ourselves and our ambitions. And look, all season our ambitions were to get back into Europe. And if we can do that, then that's it. That's obviously a great season for us. You know, it shouldn't have gone down for the world like it did. Ideally, we'd have wrapped it up. You know, the way Shels or Derry have managed to do it, where you know, they got the wins that they needed to. And, you know, ended up, you know, seeing it out very comfortably in the end. But we know nothing's ever easy with Bows. You know, that's just the way it's been now for so long. And look, we did the job tonight in terms of, you know, getting that fourth spot. And yeah, we just have to wait and see how things play out in the cup final next week. But look, hopefully it's all positive. And you know, we will be back where we belong in Europe, you know, next season. So that's it for the last match reaction to the season. You know, it's been an up and down year. You know, a bad start, you know, a good middle, and then, you know, a bit of an up and down kind of end as well. But just want to say thanks to everyone who's watched throughout the season. You know, all the engagement that the channel's gotten as well. You know, it's always great to you know, to see the comments and the response from people. And obviously there'll be plenty more content to come throughout the off season. You know, there'll be a season review soon and all that, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, that's where I'll end it. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, comment down below what you thought about the game, who was your man of the match, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.